Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I'm a professional genealogist and a passionate traveler. And I'm very glad that you come today to see the latest episode of Les Filles à Marier, the marriageable girls. These are the ladies that came before the king's daughters, and they would come between 1634 and 1662 to a very, very strange, brave new land. And in a lot of cases, it was pretty rustic, let me tell you. So we really, really want to honor these incredible women who didn't get a bounty from the king or didn't get all kinds of trousseau or things like that. They were just really bootstraps kind of ladies. So we really are grateful to them. I also want to say that there are ways that you can support the channel. Subscribe, like, and notify. All of that helps the channel grow and expand. If you want to financially contribute, you can also go on my website, PayPal. Also, we have Patreon and we have Coffee. These are all ways that you can help the channel grow. So thank you so much to all of you for doing what you've done for the last 3 or 4 years. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get to know our Filles à Marier of this episode. Today we're going to look at episode 102 of Les Filles à Marier. Suzanne Jarousseau comes to us from a viewer request, and yes, she is one of mine. So I get to explore one of my great-grandmoms. So let's get to know Suzanne a little bit better. I just want to also point out Jarousseau, it's also known as Jaroussel as well. So those of you may have different spellings. Suzanne was born in 1640 in Périgny, France. Her parents were Pierre Jarousseau and Jacquette Toureau. Now, this particular town has about a little under 9,000 people. It is part of the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, and it is part of the Charente-Maritime département. The church that is in that town has existed since the 13th and was rebuilt in the 15th as well. Saint-Cybard is the name of it. Now, Périgny definitely has existed since the Gallo-Roman time period, and the town hall of Périgny that you see before you dates back to at least the 15th century. Can you imagine working in a building like that? Now, during the time of the Great Siege of La Rochelle, Périgny suffered much damage, and many of the people that lived in Périgny during this time period would escape to places like London, and there is a family called Le Gout. So in case I just stumbled upon that information, in case that was something that might interest you. And so this was definitely a small town that she came from that had a great deal of, I would say, history behind it, but also a little bit of, more than a little bit of violence. So I can imagine why the next step in their journey, whether or not they were Catholic or Protestant, doesn't really matter. We know that this was kind of a hotbed. So let's have a look at their choices that they made. After Suzanne's father died, her mother and herself would come to New France, both as Filles à Marier. Now, obviously, her mother is listed as a Fille à Marier, but did not have any other children. But absolutely, Jacquette is one of the Fille à Marier listed. So that's kind of an interesting, aside, if you will. So let's have a look at their journey. Now, the groom that she would select, Suzanne would select, and who selected her, his name was Simon Leroux. And you can see all the different spellings of that name. He was born in 1622 in Saint Cosme de Vere, which is a very famous place in terms of the immigration. His parents were René Leroux and Marguerite Guillet. And he comes from the Pays de la Loire in the Sarthe département. And he was actually baptized in the Church of Saint Martin in Igues, in Perche, in Normandy, because if you look at it, it's very, very close to Normandy, where he was born. And if you look at Aux Familles, this is the monument that's in the Church of Saint Martin in Normandy. And aux familles de Saint-Cosme de Verre, Notre-Dame de Verre, et Champussin. And then it's the names of the families. We have Bisson, Bouillard, Bouchard, Daudier, Fortin, Garnier, Gasny, Leroux, Navet, Pouliot, Rocheron, Robillard, and Robinois. So that gives you an idea of how important this particular, they still remember. Je me souviens, they came. So he is listed in that, even though he's not actually from Normandy, he was baptized in the Normandy church. So I thought that was super interesting. Simon would arrive in New France probably, for sure, by 1655, but we think probably closer to 1652. There were some family connections, a brother-in-law that he went there to join, and so certainly there were reasons for him to be in New France. That is, for more research shall go into that for sure. In 1655, November 27 to be exact, 14-year-old Suzanne married Simon Leroux on the island of Orleans. You will find the marriage is in the registers of Notre Dame de Quebec, but the marriage itself took place on the island. There was no official parish yet, and that would come later with the formation of La Famille, the Church Saint Famille, but that would be not until 1661, I believe. So, there was no place to actually record it. That's how early they were on the island. And so we return to Ile d'Orléans, which is located about 3 miles east of downtown Quebec City. The island was actually one of the very first parts of the province to be colonized by the French. And if you have French-Canadian ancestry, chances are you've got at least one, if not more, pioneers of Ile d'Orléans. It was named Ile d'Orléans in honor of the Henry II, the Duke of Orleans, who happened to be the son of King Francis I. Now, the island at different times before that had been known as Grande Ile, Sainte Marie, and Saint Laurent. So in case you stumble across that, I want to make sure to let you know that that is the same place. Now, it's very important to note the different parishes. Saint Famille was the first, and then we have Saint François, Saint Jean, Saint Laurent, Saint Pierre, and Saint Petronille. These are pictures I took on my recent trip to Ile d'Orléans, my very first one. It will not be my last. In 1666 census, we find Simon and Suzanne. Note the difference in their ages. He was 15 years older than her. So we have Marie, Pierre, and Anne. And then we have someone who's staying with them, possibly he's a worker, a monthly worker, that is what it said. His work is of a fabric weaver or a fabric maker. Etienne Contant. 1667 census, we find Simon and Suzanne. We have Marie and Pierre and Anne. And then we have Jean Leclerc, who is a domestic, who's 21 years old. They have 12 beasts, which is like 12 head of cattle or 12 cows, and 25 arpents valeur, which is about 22 acres of land, a pretty sizable amount. They would go on to have 7 children. Marie would marry Jean-Guy de Lorvier and would have 1 child who did survive. Pierre would marry Marguerite Bedeau and would have 9 children, all of whom survived, 7 of whom left descendants. We have Catherine, who passed away in infancy, the second Catherine, who passed away in infancy. We have Anne, who married François Fréchet and would have 8 children, 7 of whom married. 6th, I've never seen this name before. When I saw it, I was like, what is that? It's very, very cool. He married Reine de Blois and would have 10 children, 6 of whom would survive, 5 would leave descendants. Reine's mother was Françoise Vigier, a fille Marie who we have not yet profiled. And Marie-Madeleine would marry Jean Laroche and would have 5 children, all of whom would make it to adulthood. Simon died sometime between November 1670 and January of 1671, and he died at the hospital Hôtel Dieu in Quebec City. He would have been a tragically young 48 years old. He and Suzanne would have been married 15 years at this time. Suzanne would find herself with a second husband. His name was Robert Coutard, and he was born in 1643 in Vendôme, France. His parents were François Coutard and Anne Jolie. Let's talk a little bit about, where is Vendôme? And it is found in the Centre Val de Loire region, and inside of that region, the département is Loire et Cher. The history of Vendôme is marked by events and transformations that truly have shaped the real unique identity of this place. In the 11th century, Angevin political influence was affirmed with the construction of the castle. You can see it right there. By the Count of Anjou. Between the 11th and 17th centuries, the city saw the emergence of many convents, of religious congregations, including the Benedict Abbey of the Trinity, founded in 1032. The end of the 14th century marked a period of modernization with the construction of the Saint Jacques Chapel, and in 1623, the Caesar of Bourbon founded the College of the Orachians, which today houses the town hall. I mean, again, amazing. In the 17th century, Vendôme became a garden city with the development of many green spaces. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the city continued to transform with the construction of the barracks known as Quartier Rochambeau. Vendôme also experienced tragic moments, notably during the World War II, when bombings ravaged the city and destroyed so many of their, the history of it. The Abbey of the Trinity, founded in 1032, is a jewel of religious architecture, just amazing. And the Château de Vendôme is from the 12th century. You can't, it's just amazing the places that you can go to and see and stand in the presence of history. Truly amazing. And I was captivated by this place and just the history of it all. Just amazing. So Robert would come to New France, as so many before, as a contracted engagé, as you say, a worker, and he is found in the 1666 census on with Antoine Primo as a domestic engagé, and again in the 1667 census he is also found as a domestic, along with several other people as well. By 1671, Robert obviously had earned the right to ask for the hand of the widow and would have had something to offer because he would have completed his contract. And they were married on February 5th, 1671. Remember that her husband would have passed away sometime in the last 3 months. So it was a very, very quick turnaround. They would go on to have 4 children together. We have Marie, who passed away at 1 year of age. We have François de la Rose, who did not marry. And then we have Marie, who married Bertrand Allard and would have 5 children, all of whom made it to adulthood. And then we would have Pierre, who died at 20 years of age, not leaving any descendants. In the 1681 census, we have Robert and Suzanne. And then we have François, and Marie, and Pierre, who are a year and a half. And five bêtes à cornes, so 5 goats or horned animals. We know that sometime between 1694 or 95, she was noted as a patient at the Hôtel Dieu of Quebec. Did she die there? Did she recover and go back home? We do not know. She would have been about 54 years old, much too young. She and Robert would have been married 20 years, and she would leave us 167 descendants as of 1729. Robert would pass away in 1706 at the age of 63. He, we know, is buried on the island of Orleans. And over 300 videos now, and I have never seen this, where a fille mariée or fille du roi is listed twice. And my beautiful great-grandmother was listed twice because of her early marriage to Simon Leroux, and then her other marriage to Robert Coutard. Actually, I just want to point out, if you look on the right and look, if you pause, you can see Jarousseau, the VE, that's what it stands for, Suzanne. So they're acknowledging that she was a widow when she married him. So I think that's really neat. I had no idea. I did not connect the dots when I was there that Suzanne was mine, so to speak. But I'm very glad that I took the time to take all those pictures of all of the different names and be able to read them. And just amazing how much Suzanne was a true pioneer of Ile d'Orléans. If you want to find out more information about Simon or Simon, we have the volume number 9 and chapter 15, pages 159 to 169 in that book, Our French Canadian Ancestors. If you can't get a copy of it, you can always go on the Facebook group, Our Free French Canadian Ancestors, sign up, and inside the group are the files that you can download and get a copy of that particular chapter. What an incredibly brave lady. And I did neglect to tell you which descendancy was mine when I was talking about the children. I'm descend from her first husband, Simon Leroux, and I come from Anne, who married the Fréchette. So in case you all want to tell me that you're my cousin, I'm sure we're cousins anyway, but in case the line goes into the Fréchette line. And, she just came to New France with her mother, which is unusual to begin with, married, and had a, sudden death of her husband, 15 years but had all of these children, and then was able to remarry and another fellow and create a new family, which not unusual, but what was unusual is on that monument to be listed twice. I'm just so proud of her. And she definitely was someone who, was brave and courageous and just kept going on and on and on. And I proudly claim her as my great-grandmother. Merci beaucoup, grand-maman. Je t'aime. And I'm very, very proud, as all of the descendants of this amazing lady should be as well. So with that being said, I also want to say thank you to my patrons, supporters, and subscribers. You are also the wind beneath my wings, as I often say. But truly, 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 I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And until we meet again on the next episode of Les Filles à Marier, I will say au revoir.